What's up, Eric?
How's it going?
How you doing? You are the lead game designer working on Prototype, is that correct?
That's right.
And you're from Radical Entertainment. This is a game that, as we were talking before, I've actually been looking at ever since I saw the first announcement stuff, some of the first screenshots. It looks really awesome, and I was super excited to hear you guys are coming in today, so I'm glad that we'll get to show it off to the folks at home.
It's great to hear so much excitement about the game.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah, no sweat. So just to give folks at home, we actually had you guys play the game earlier. It's still really early, right? You guys are pre-alpha, so basically we had you play it earlier and get sections of all the stuff that you wanted to show off, and that's what we'll be taking a look at right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at Prototype, which you're about to see. And as you see there, yeah, there's some blood in there. Let's go ahead and take a look at Prototype now. So Eric, tell me what is the storyline behind Prototype? What is it we're seeing right here?
Well, what you're seeing right here is definitely a pre-alpha playable, so you're probably going to see bugs and glitches and all sorts of interesting things, but hopefully you'll see the promise in behind that. So the premise of the game is you're in a very realistic depiction of New York City. New York City where something very bad has happened. There's been a viral outbreak there. And at the center of it, you seem to be connected to it because you're a character with shape-shifting powers. What you can see him doing there is what we call a consume. He acquires the memories, the appearance, and the related DNA of anyone he consumes that way. And he has to kill them first, and then he takes on their biomass, and he gains those attributes. So he can shapeshift for disguise, as you see here, and you can also shapeshift using the different powers he's acquired through the game to have amazing powers like kind of defense, attack, deception. So there's some interesting different dynamics in our game. We wanted a very dynamic character, the sort of thing that we thought we could only do in a next-gen system.
And there we see he pulls out the claws and does all kinds of business. So can you tell us who basically I saw two people that, depending on what was going on, you had trouble with. And there's obviously, you saw the tank in the street doing some business with the military, and then you also have the infected people themselves, right?
Sure, so we wanted a very realistic New York backdrop to this game so that we have something that feels very grounded, very realistic, very easy to relate to in the world. So this is our Times Square location, and as you can see, it's pretty recognizable, that kind of iconic feel of Times Square. The two other factions in the game are the military, who you just saw kind of a quick patrol of there. They have APCs, they have helicopters, they have large numbers of Marines, and also special forces called the Black Watch in the game. And they move in New York as soon as the viral outbreak is kind of identified there, and secure the island and start working to try and clear out the infection before it takes hold. What you're seeing here is our crowd technology turned against the player because these people are all infected with the virus. Now, they're under its control.
Now that was the first section of gameplay that we grabbed. There's some fun stuff that we're going to take a look at in a second. You've been working on this game for quite some time now, since 2005, I believe.
That's right, yep.
And you guys have come a long ways. It's interesting because we were talking about it earlier. People like doing stuff in New York City. It's a fun city to throw stuff at and have all kinds of viral outbreaks, especially we see recently in movies and stuff. But this is something you guys started as an original storyline that you guys have built from the ground up.
That's right. This is all an original IP, and I guess we thought we were being super creative when we started with this in 2005, and I guess we have to be satisfied with being a little bit of a trend now because viral outbreaks seem to have entered the national consciousness. That's something we were kind of trying to play to at the time, but now it's actually turned up in a whole bunch of other media, movies, and even some other games. So
well, here's some stuff that none of those things are doing right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next section of gameplay that we saw you play through and record for us earlier. What are we seeing here, Eric?
So what we wanted to get is a very dynamic version of New York City. We didn't want to get that kind of snapshot feel you get in some free roaming games where you start the game and the world that you see at the end of the game is exactly the same as the world at the end. So what we have is this outbreak actually takes place in real time across the city. And this here is what we call a hive. It's kind of like the equivalent of a gauntlet enemy generator where it's going to spit out more and more infected people, infected creatures, more and more powerful kind of creations of the virus, and you can actually take it on. Now what we've done here is when I was playing this, I actually brought a whole bunch of military guys in pursuit of me, and I've disguised myself here as one of the civilians. So they're actually going to be tricked into attacking that hive for me and doing my dirty work. So in real time they're going to actually take out that hive. It's going to remove a bunch of infected from the area, and we have this kind of what we call this three-way war between the infection, between the military and the player. All those three different players in this war. It can affect how you might play a mission. For example, if you have an objective here and the infected are making it really troublesome, you can come in and take out that hive and diminish their presence here, and also use the military to do that. Or take some infected guys over to a military base and have them gut it whilst you're performing some other objective you want to take on too. So we wanted a really kind of dynamic version of New York, and the three-way war is how we realize that.
I love this right here.
So all the military vehicles in the game, the tanks, the helicopters, the player can grab those, jack them, as long as he's got the associated skills he's acquired from pilots, from drivers, from crew, from gunners, and so he can use all the military's technology against them. And we don't just want him to snag those things at military bases. As you saw, you can jump in there and take it over in real time on the battlefield.
Oh yeah, I've been keeping half an eye while we're looking at the footage of some of the people in the chat room, what they're talking about. Hope33 picked it out right. He said it's, in some ways, it looks similar to the latest Hulk game that you had actually worked on, correct?
Yep, we shipped, our team previously shipped Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction in 2005. So we had a lot of dynamic action in there, but our city in there was very simple. We sold a whole city there and a whole military force with just 8 characters active at any one particular time. And as you can see there, we've got dozens of characters on screen at once, if not, up to over 100 with all the pedestrians, the amount of traffic in there. We really want to capture that sense of intensity you can have in New York City, and I think we're starting to pull it off.
Definitely. Let's take a look at a little bit more of the action that we got here of prototype. Now, before we jump into this, what's happening here, sir?
So this is one of the military sensor suites they're using to actually track the virus, and the player in this particular mission is taking them out. But in this example here, I've actually brought some hunters along with me. They're trying to kill me, but now they're also fighting the military who are defending the sensors. So we got kind of a little microcosm, I guess, of the game in the same way we had with the previous base there. So these are larger than human beings. These are mutations caused by the virus called hunters, and these are the first hunters that turn up in the game. We get a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and a lot meaner in the game as we progress through the story.
And I mean, I was watching you play through this earlier when you were getting this footage, and I mean, it is truly free-roaming, open world. You were jumping off of pretty much every building, anything that you could see in that
Sure.
shot there, you could get to, which is
that whole city you see there, you can go anywhere, anytime.
yeah. We got one more section of gameplay we're going to take a look at here of a prototype. This is coming out when, sir?
It'll be fall of this year.
Fall of this year. And I have to imagine, since working on it from 2005, you are eagerly looking forward to for putting the finishing touches on it, correct?
Well, definitely. It's I mean, it's a challenge with such a big game. We're really ambitious with this title, but we think there's a lot of new types of gameplay that we're realizing in here, and I guess what you're seeing is some of this stuff coming together here. This is a military base. Along the lines of the hive that you saw earlier, this is a military installation. So they've taken over a building, they've secured it, they have a fence around it, and they can deploy vehicles and troops from it. So like I said, all the vehicles you can use in the game, also all the firearms that the military have, you can grab them and use them too. So there's kind of whenever the military add new technology into the field, you get access to that same hardware too.
So what's the stuff that we aren't seeing right now that it is pre-alpha and you are not shipping until this fall? What is some of the stuff? There's some storyline stuff that we're not seeing.
There's so much stuff we've not shown. One of the big things I really look forward to revealing is a thing called the Web of Intrigue, and that's where when Alex consumes someone, like I said earlier, he acquires their memories, and memories are really the source of this game because he's following up on the conspiracy, what seemed to maybe bring this virus to New York, what maybe let it go, and how he acquired his powers. So the player's realizing that not just through cutscenes, not just through going and talking to someone and getting some point where he puts the pad down and just watches what happens. We have hundreds of conspirators seeded through our world in New York City, people who know fragments of information about the conspiracy. And we realize that in what we call the Web of Intrigue, because when Alex consumes those people, he acquires those memories, and we actually experience those memories at full screen. We get an audio treatment, we get a little snippet of it, and Alex is hurt by these things. It's kind of funny. The memories in the game are really Alex's kryptonite, but they're also what he's on the trail of, because that following up on that stuff lets him find out where he came from and what the hell is going on in the city. So we have kind of an interesting dynamic there, but that's something that we're really excited to be showing later in the year. So keep an eye open for that.
Oh, definitely. And I can't thank you again can't thank you enough for bringing it by. I know it was really early. I know you guys didn't necessarily want to show it off just yet, but I think the fans at home appreciate seeing it early, and we'll look forward to seeing more of it.
Thanks for the opportunity.